if you don't have to manage emails and schedule events or do admin work, right? What would you do instead? EA is the ultimate productivity hack. Today's topic, the first hire that pays for itself. Why an executive assistant, EA, is the ultimate productivity hack. Some of the agenda, we'll talk about, why you're slowing your own growth, the EA advantage, how EA pays for itself in weeks, the high impact tasks you should offload, and why waiting to hire an EA is really costing you. Okay. So a little bit about me. I'm the founder of Design Source Media, which is a web agency. Founder of DSM Talent, which is a staffing agency. We help agencies find talent in the Philippines. And then I've been running an agency for over 13 years now. Currently manage a team of 14 and husband, father of 3 kids. So understanding really the core problem, the bottleneck. We're balancing like expectations, reality, why you need an EA. Expectation, I mean, does this sound familiar to any one of you? I can handle everything myself. Right? That's been me for the good half of my journey as an agency owner. Right? I can handle it, I can do everything myself, or no one can do it better than I can. But reality is admin work, operational, communication tasks, right? Just every single day is just like it just chips away at you, right? Does that sound familiar for anyone? Does it feel like that? Does it feel like that right now?
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So a quick solution, right? Hiring EA helps with that, right? Removes low value tasks, frees up time for growth, exceeds expectations by streamlining admin, operational, sales support, right? So I'm just going high level right now. Don't worry, I'll go deeper into it as we go through this presentation, this training session. So why EA is a smart investment, not an expense. So often, leaders, the agency owners, they struggle with time debt, right? Constantly catching up instead of moving forward. There are times where I feel like every step I took, there's just more work, just piling in. I remember when I first started, I was um, doing basically my whole morning, like from 8 a.m. to like 5 p.m. I would be out there going to networking events, doing sales calls, and then I would go home, grab dinner, and then from like 8 to like 1 a.m., that was when I was doing the technical work, like programming, building websites, planning for the next day, responding to all. I mean, I was still responding to emails on the go, but also responding to more emails and trying to build the system. It was a lot. So I was basically working a double shift. But you can only do that for so long. And so the promise is with an EA, you get more time back, getting your time back, smoother operations, and increased productivity. So another expectation versus reality is like, oh, EAs, executive assistant. I hear that the big CEOs of big companies have them, right? The secretaries, the executive assistants. But I'm not a Fortune 1000 CEO, right? I can't afford that, or I don't need that, right? It's like the work that they do. How does that affect me? But in reality, even solopreneurs and small teams will see immediate ROI by delegating to an EA. So let me ask everyone here, what would happen to your business or to you if you stopped right now, without an EA, like right now, just stop managing email, scheduling, and admin work? What would happen to your agency?
I'd have more time to work on growing it.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So, okay, but the you still have emails come in, right? So things will start piling up too, right?
You're saying, oh, sorry, I read that as what would
Yeah,
happen if you had somebody doing that.
yeah, yeah. But so let's just okay. So we can look at it that way too. Yeah. If you had an EA, right? If you stopped,
Right.
if you don't have to manage emails and schedule events or do admin work. right? What would you do instead?
Focus on growing and getting more clients and fine tuning everything that we're doing and overseeing in a better way to where I'm less depleted.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Sarah. Who else? What else would you be doing? You got all this free time now, right? What would you do? Christine, Nicole, Evan, Gail,
I
Debbie.
would, I don't know if this is the answer you're looking for, but I would make more time for myself, which I currently do not do.
Oh, super important, right? If anyone have experienced burnout, it
Sorry.
sucks. Right? Oh, no worries, no worries. Yeah. I've experienced burnout. You definitely don't want to experience that, right? There are times where I didn't even want to get out of bed, right? And that could happen, right? If you don't give time back to yourself. So I'll continue. So impact, faster execution on projects, smoother team communication coordination, and reduced stress and administrative load, right? So I want you to think about and understand how mental load affects you, right? Affects poor choices, procrastination, and impulse spending. Okay. How many times have you had where you're like, yeah, I know I really need to do this, right? I know I really need to go through the agency U modules, right? I know I really need to set up that momentum campaign or the authority funnel and everything else. But then, oh, look, it's another email that came in. Oh, look, I need to reschedule this. Or like for me right now, I know I need to do my taxes, right? It's tax season time. So there's certain things that, we just procrastinate. It's just human nature, right? Does this resonate with anyone? Or is this like, or am I like the crazy one? Like, yeah, Dave, it's only you. I don't know about you, but we're awesome. Everything's going fine and dandy here.
No, that's
The
the
So,
impulse.
literal story of my life right now.
oh, what would you say, Nicole?
It's like genuinely the story of my life right now. I know I need to go through the agency U modules, but then I'm like, wait, also have to make sure that I even have clients to support the modules.
Yeah, yeah. It's like now it's like it feels like a juggling act, right? And you don't want to drop a ball.
Absolutely.
And then when you drop the ball, then it turns into like a fireball, right? Like fire starts happening. Now
But some of us don't act until the fire is lit.
yeah, right. Exactly. So this is a case, one of the case studies, and this is a study from they did a study on the Israeli prison system. Okay. So what happened is they looked at the judges, the parole officers, and the morning hearings, they compared it to the afternoon hearings, and the pattern over 1,100 cases, 70% parole approval were in the mornings. So if you're ever going to have to meet a judge, right? You want to be in the mornings. You don't want to wait until after they have lunch and they're kind of tired and they made a ton of decisions throughout the day. Um, you don't want that, for yourself. So you can hopefully or pray that it's in the morning because judges default to safer options or denial as mental fatigue sets in, right? Time parole hearings is a major factor in case outcomes, right? It's not due to a bias, but cognitive exhaustion, right? So, so understand that, right? As we make a ton of decisions throughout the day, it starts the moment you wake up, and when you start looking at emails and you start looking at the calendar, or you're scheduling, oh, who should I talk to, or how should I respond to this? And it's really not it shouldn't have been your main focus, but you're making decisions and you're creating fatigue to yourself. Another study would be like two groups of students. They had one group, they had to make a decision of different department store items. The other group, they didn't make a decision at all. They just looked at the items. And then the second part of the test, they had to place their hand in ice cold water, and they tested how long they can keep their hands in the ice water. So the decision making group only lasted 28 seconds, while the non-decision making group lasted 67 seconds. Okay. So it repeat decisions drains that mental energy and reducing your self-discipline, right? And yes, some of you may say, "Man, Dave, I have amazing self-discipline. I've been hardened over the years." Okay, that's great, right? I still look at it like it's like a stamina bar, right? So even though, or your pool's bigger, but it still drains, right? By the end of the day. And next thing you know, right, it's all gone. And the scary part is I looked into my personal life, right? I have kids. I don't want to lose my own self-discipline. And at the end of the day, I go home, I see my kids, and I'm a monster. Right? I'm not the same version I was in the morning, right? Because I'm just so exhausted, decision fatigue. So I'm avoiding that. So that's important. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So where EA comes into play, your EA should be able to eliminate and free up at least 10 hours per week for you. Okay. Bare minimum. And then as far as the cost goes, I mean, think of it this way, right? You want to value, and this is one of the things I've seen a lot of agency owners, entrepreneurs make this mistake. You have to first value your own time. Okay. You should not be making minimum wage. Okay. So look at your time as $200 an hour, right? You're an expert. You're a consultant. You're providing all this expert help, right? In marketing, in video, in SEO or ads, right? Or websites, whatever it is. You're an expert in your field. You're charging the same amount, or you're getting compensated the same amount as someone working at McDonald's, right? That's ridiculous. So any of the work that you're doing, the low value tasks, it should be completely off your plate. If you do that, then you start recovering. So 10 hours a week, $200 an hour, that's $2,000 recovered per week. Okay. And I get it. You might say, "Hey, Dave, I'm not making the sales right now. I'm not able to bill at that rate. I'm a brand new agency." All right, that's fine, right? Just change that to $50 an hour. But also at the same time, you should be doing sales, right? You should be doing marketing. The business needs you to do marketing and sales to grow your business right now, depending on where your journey is. But usually in the beginning, it's all marketing and sales because that is your lifeblood. That's like the gas, the fuel for your agency. So really, yeah, you can't afford not to hire an EA, right? You're not saving money, you're really losing it. The real question isn't whether you can afford it, is whether you can keep spending your valuable time doing low level tasks, right? So tasks that should be completely off your plate. So I'm going to go through a bunch of lists, some of the items, some of the things you probably recognize immediately, like, yeah, I'm doing that right now. Calendar management, right? Scheduling and event reminders, inbox management, email filtering, drafting responses, travel booking. You're going somewhere. It doesn't even have to be outside the state or outside the country. It could be like a local meetup. You're meeting with a prospect. You're meeting with a customer. You're scheduling a lunch, and you need to make a reservation for lunch, right? Those things all need to be planned out. Sales and client support, right? Researching leads, maintaining CRM, scheduling calls, organizing sales decks, follow-up emails. All these things, if you're doing it already, it could be delegated. If you're not doing it, then you should be doing it and then delegating it to the EA. Team and project coordination, internal meeting preps, task tracking, reporting, project management, resource management. Right? And feel free, if anyone has any questions while I go through these slides on a particular slide, feel free to put the question in the chat, or you can just jump right into the call. Okay. So any questions? Does this make sense so far?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So now we'll go into the actual examples, like I'm giving you like the good stuff, like the screenshots, the what my own team, what my own EAs do. Okay. So, so for example, filter noise, emails, filter noise, prioritize key emails, and organize the day. So before an EA, I'll show you a before and after, right? So this is just an example. And some of your calendars probably look like this. If it doesn't, if it's all blank, that's another issue, right? You should load up your calendar. I follow a thing called time blocking. So I block off everything. I even ask my own wife, like, hey, if you want me to do something for our family, or if you want to have a date night, send me a meeting invite. Okay. It was weird at first, but she's totally on board with it now because I don't want double bookings, right? Like you can see in the calendar here, there's a lot of double bookings, right? That's a big no-no. So now before an EA and then after an EA, right? There's time breaks, and there's time to eat, time for breakfast, and everything is nice and organized. Okay. Client communication approvals. So here's an example, like Charlene. She's actually in the call right now. Charlene, my EA, she'll respond to one of our clients about getting approval for the the EA role blueprint, and just reply back with an approval. And when that happens, if it goes directly, let's like right now in this email, the rest of the team is tagged. But if let's say the recipient or our client, sometimes they don't hit reply all and they just hit reply. And when that happens, it goes only to me, right? My EA would just forward that or reply back, including the rest of the team. And then the rest of the team will receive that message, and will take action and start implementing. In the meantime, I'm off in a meeting somewhere. I'm doing a sales call. I'm having lunch with my family, whatever that is. And then I come back like, okay, cool. Email's already forwarded. I did not have to make any decisions to move this forward. The client is not delayed. My team has what they need to move forward. Make sense?
Complete and total.
Yes. Okay. File requests. How many times have you ever asked one of your clients, I need these files, right? If you're a content agency, if you're a social media agency, you probably need like their logo, right? There may be if they have like a brand guidelines, their fonts, their colors. Like we need to know all that up front, right? Sometimes we have an onboarding doc we need them to fill. Well, my EA can provide all that. Like here's a drive, here's a Google Drive, or here's the Google Doc that we need you to fill out, or here's a form we need you to fill out, and so my EA can assist with that. Now our agency is much bigger now, so that role in the beginning, an EA can do. Eventually, you want to have like a customer success manager to start doing some of these pieces. But for most that do not have a CSM yet, then your EA can be the start of that. Granting access. Sometimes the people that we meet, they might need access to certain files or certain things. And so in this case, Charlene was just mentioning, hey, can you provide access to this individual because this was tied to my login. But there's other things too. When a client might need a file, then my EA would just reply to the client and say, here you go, here's the drive link, here's the file that you need. Weekly status updates. So this is one of the things your EA, but also now our recruitment team handles this now. Every Friday, we provide an update of like these are the in our staffing side of the in this example is our staffing side of the agency. It would say these are the number of applicants that we're getting. So we received 57 applicants as of today for the video editor. We've invited 3 applicants for initial interviews. And then we also sent out a candidate endorsement for the video editor role. So you can see here, we're providing, and the EA can provide status updates every single week, every Friday. For us, is every Friday. So that's something you want to start doing, and sets a cadence. And also from a client's point of view, like it looks like you have your shit together, right?
May I ask,
Yes.
who gathers all the information for that weekly status update? Because obviously that takes a good chunk of time, right?
Yeah, EA can. EA. So it's a combination of making sure your project management system is accurate,
Okay.
and then your EA knows all who to talk to, like the resources. Like if you're working with third-party vendors, if you're working with, like a white label agency or internal staff, right? Your EA knows who to talk to, and let that person know, hey, I'm putting together a report, that Friday report to client X. Right. In this case, an example is Jake. We're going to send him a weekly update to Jake. Well, I need this information. So your EA is gathering all the information. There's a template already. So your EA is filling this out. And then if you want approval, right? I don't even look at these anymore. I don't need to. But in the beginning, you can do the final check if you want. And then afterwards, your EA will just send it out for you. Rinse and repeat every Friday. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
And then also internally, we have an email called the Daily Digest. That lets everyone know in the team, on the team, what's happening. Like, oh yeah, we have Amy on maternity leave. She'll be back on in May. Oh, there's an upcoming maternity leave, and prepare for end of March and early April. So like that's just one big announcement, and just to kind of let everyone know, like, hey, this is what's happening in our organization, and then down below are the different divisions. So what's happening? Like we have our web division, we have our talent division, and then we have our maintenance division. So everyone knows. So like even if you don't interact with the other departments that day, you can just read the daily digest at the end of the day to see what's happening in all parts of our organization. Okay. So that our EA helps put together, at least the initial template, and then also sends it out. Each department lead will help contribute to fill out this daily digest before the email gets sent out. Timelines. Right now, our CSMs will handle that, but prior to that, our EAs can handle that. Like, for example, helping build out the timelines, making adjustments. So a little bit of project management on what things should be completed at what stage. Reviewing work. So, for example, if you're working with video editors or social media managers, and you just want one more checkpoint, your EA can be that checkpoint before the content gets published, right? If you don't have, let's say, correction, if you don't have a social media manager, let's just say you only have graphic designers, then you are the social media manager, then you can have your EA do that checkpoint. If you have a social media manager at that point, you shouldn't have to, right? Because your SMM is handling that type of work and then going direct to publishing. You as the CEO, president, should not be doing that. But in a growing agency, if you don't have the SMM, then your EA kind of helps you with that filtering process. Okay. Does that make sense? Any questions so far?
I'm just waiting to find out how much it's gonna cost.
Oh.
What is all this gonna cost me?
Oh yeah. I mean, but yeah, I'll go over that. It's actually not in the slide deck. I'm really not here to sell you anything. But if you want to work with us,
I really do want to. I love everything that you're doing. I think it would be a tremendous help. I'm kind of piecemealing everything already, but everybody's like, no, David's got the most amazing staff. So yeah, I'd love to know.
Okay. Yeah. So I won't keep you from your suspense. Suspense.
Don't keep us in suspense, David.
Yeah, suspense. Yeah. So you can hire EAs really all over the world. Locally, if you hire, where are you located?
Southern California.
Southern Cal. Oh, California is expensive.
Yes.
So
Well, so
easily,
yeah. So like I
yeah,
love when I get all these people that are like, there are a lot of other businesses that kind of are like hire our EAs, hire
yeah,
our people, blah, 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 blah. So,
yeah.
but everybody says your people love you. They love working for you. They don't even want to go separate or out, go direct. So it's like, okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
David's got it going on.
That is very true. That is very true. So in California and in general US, your typical W-2 salary for an EA is about 5 grand a month. Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Um, where we find our EAs and talents in the Philippines, um,
Yes.
basically for pricing standpoint, we provide W-2 equivalent. It's going to range around $1,500 to $1,800 a month. Okay.
Okay.
That's basically your range for
Okay.
typical EA.
Okay.
Yeah. And then other roles are very similar. We're talking like social media manager, video editors, right? All depends, right? Like we've also found, and again, it depends on expertise. We found video editors that have done work for like Coca-Cola, right? Or Adidas,
Right.
like Fortune 100 clients.
Yeah.
They're going to be more, but still half the cost of what you would find here, in the
Right.
States. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there you go. That's basically if you're looking for a budget or cost for an EA, it's less than 2 grand a month.
Okay. Good, good, good.
Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you for asking. So another piece is all part of operational efficiency, team communications, confirmation, and cadence. Like we have a morning call every morning. So I have a morning call with my EAs, but also now our team has gotten bigger. Our CSMs, are essentially department leads, will run morning calls, like scrum calls, or morning huddles is another way to another way people call it. And this is like a short 15-30 minute call, and make sure everyone's on the same page. Like, what did you do? What did you do yesterday, and what do you plan on doing today? And then what are your bottlenecks? We just go down the list. Everyone shares their thoughts, and anyone's able to like contribute. Like, oh yeah, that's the bottleneck that I've solved before. I can help you. And that's where the team communication comes in the mornings. And here's some of the things that you should stop doing. Building lead lists, in-depth prospect research, preparing pre-call notes, typing notes during a call, confirming attendance, sending meeting minutes. All these things you should be doing like as a company, as an agency, but you shouldn't be doing it yourself. So here's an example for a sales call preparation process. EA researches the lead or the prospect, right? Gathers information about the potential client and to understand their needs better. So kind of go a little deeper into this. Like Charlene, for example, my EA, will look at find their LinkedIn, find their Instagram, find their spouse's Instagram, and other connections. What do they like? What are the interests? So basically, it's like a private eye, right? So she'll get more context about the person that I'm meeting with before I jump on a call. So I'm better prepared to be on that call. And then sets up the meeting, sends pre-call notes, so have like notes prepared, and then we're able to close more deals. So how they drive business success, it's basically think of this process, right? Identify the bottleneck, like whatever bottleneck you're having, and then they can help streamline it and start implementing. So let's just say your bottleneck might be, oh, I can't implement these AU modules, right? There's just so much to do. Well, you identified that. So now you can start like, okay, what can we do? What steps do we need to do to implement these modules? So you can talk to your EA about it. And start implementing it and start doing the tasks, start measuring like, okay, are these, let's say we're running an authority funnel. Is this authority funnel working or not working? If it is, then great, let's keep going. If not, let's find those bottlenecks, repeat, rinse and repeat. Project efficiency, right? Following up on action items and keeping meetings on track, right? So these are things that your EA is complimenting you with on your day-to-day, week-to-week. So this is just one testimonial from one of our agency partners, right? I wish we basically redacted all the personal information, but I wish I hired this EA 9 years ago. She's simply amazing. I'm loving every minute of her presence on our team. She's truly an asset. The minute she joined our team, I begin to feel relief right away. Protective. She offers ideas and great feedback. She's supportive of the team and fits right in. With confidence, I have already handed over my calendar, email, and company's ticketing system, and she's managing it like a boss, right? And I'm not really, here to share this to brag. I'm sharing this so you see it's not just coming from me, it's from other agencies. Like this works, right? It does work. I want you to see that it works for other agency owners and it can help you too. But one important part is that being able to let go. Then that is one of the most difficult things as an agency owner is being able to let go of the things that you're so comfortable doing. So you free up your time so you can do other things. So EA's investment, not an expense. Admin, operations, sales support should not be your job. Time saved is really revenue gained, right? You can make more money, but you can't make more time. So there you go. Any questions?
Yeah. How do we get one?
Oh, okay. Well, you can. So a few options. You can work with us. You can just message me. There's actually a booking calendar on the bottom, dsmtalent.com, if you want to work with us. Or you can go to like onlinejobs.ph. That's one option if you want to do the recruitment and staffing. But the downside with that is that you have to do all the recruitment yourself, and you won't be able to provide benefits. So they're essentially contractors. And essentially like someone that's a 1099 versus a W-2, right? Most people want a W-2 because of benefits. And that's the one thing you won't be able to do if you go direct like that. But it's cheaper. I'm not gonna lie, it's just gonna be cheaper. Um, and then you can also go on Facebook groups to find talent in the Philippines. Of course, you can find someone locally. It will just be very expensive. So, does that help, Sarah?
And you're saying with you, you have them on W-2, and then how does that work?
Yeah, so if you work with us, we're treated as like a service to you, in the books. So it's like an outsourcing service. So you just pay and it's a service expense. You don't have to worry about the payroll. You don't have to worry about like the tax implications and stuff like that because we handle it all on our end.
Okay. And then, sorry if this is too in the weeds, but from my business's financial standpoint, obviously I would need to report that they are a contractor of some sort, an expense of some sort. Are you saying that it would not be categorized as that?
Yeah, it's not categorized as payroll because you're not handling any of the W-2s or the taxes. You're treating ourselves, you would look at DSM talent on the billing as a service expense. It's like if you were to hire, I don't know, let's say you were hire a video agency, okay? And so you don't necessarily like pay W-2 to each of the video editors in that agency,
Right.
right? The video agency would just send you a bill,
Okay. Yeah.
right?
Just wanted to make sure
Yeah,
I
so it's that
understand that.
simple. We handle all the payroll, taxes. We have a whole entity set up in the Philippines, so both governments get their fair share of taxes, and all the calculations are done on our end. So we make life super simple.
Yeah. Sorry, I just met you. I didn't know your background here, but pretty cool agency that you've built yourself.
Thank you, thank you. And it's actually kind of by accident. Over the years, we we started a web agency, and then we work with a lot of marketing agencies, and they've asked, Dave, your team's awesome. Can you find me help? Can you find me a talent, talent in the Philippines? And that's how DSM Talent was born.
Yeah.
And to answer Ivan, and I'll get to you, Mark, in a minute. Uh, Actually, Chris, let's see. Dave, what's your organization that takes? Okay, yeah, DSM Talent, and I'll put actually, Charlene, can you put the our website link in the chat, please? And then uh, Ivan said, thank you, Charlene. Why Philippines? English is very common. Yes. So funny enough, I'm actually not Filipino. I'm Chinese. Um, and I've hired all over, like India, Pakistan, you name it. Uh, and the Philippines, they historically have a lot of U.S. influence. And also, I was there a couple years ago too, and just being there, it's a beautiful country. Um, they also have a lot of outsourcing experience. So a lot of big companies, like think of like Comcast and T-Mobile, they outsource to the Philippines mainly because their English is just so good, and their accent isn't that heavy in comparison to some of the other countries. But also culturally, work ethic is very strong there. And I don't know if this is a pro and or con to you, but they're really heavy in Catholic. In Christianity, they follow, like there's a lot of Catholics in the Philippines. So that's kind of like why Philippines. Hope that helps answer your question. Um, Mark, question.
Yes, thank you. Just had a question. If we want to hire locally, can we still use you guys?
Well, what kind of help do you need locally?
I was thinking of a virtual assistant, but maybe now after this conversation, more like an executive assistant. But I'm working my way up to that. But and have a few people and thought about training them and maybe paying them a comparable rate. But just considering it, but wanted to know if that's a possibility.
Yeah, so we don't like I'm not able to like offer you this as a service. I guess you could hire me as a consultant, but I think the best thing would be we've watched some of the previous modules, and I've shared some of the documentation and outline. For example, we have a 90-day onboarding process. That's something that you can utilize when you bring someone on. Some of the
Okay.
other modules on recruitment, our recruitment steps and how we recruit, you can use that to help you if you're
Okay.
going to hire someone locally.
Gotcha. Thank you. I'll do that.
Yeah. Okay. Questions? Any other questions? Love it. Ivan.
Yeah, I remember the birthday party, the video they shared. It was like different people. I think it was through your staffing agency. You had where all of the staff were meeting and everybody was representing different company. So if let's say if we made hires through your agency,
Yeah.
they would be one of those people like you shown during that party that they were basically all local people in Philippines, but they were all representing different companies, right?
Yep. Yep.
And
So for context for everyone, what Ivan's talking about is most likely our Christmas party. Um,
yes,
we have a huge we have two big events a year. We have a summer outing and we have a Christmas party. And we everyone leaves with a gift box, a gift basket, and it's a ton of fun. We fly people all over the Philippines, like because the Philippines is if you don't know, there's like a bunch of islands, right? So we're flying everyone into one location, and we extend the invite to all of our talents. So And then basically the agency owners can decide if they want to cover for the costs to be part of that event. And it's super fun and everyone has a blast. So, but anyways, please continue, Ivan.
Yeah, so the reason why I'm asking is because obviously if you have local employees, then having that connection, that personal connection with your full-time staff is very important. But if they are remote, then I'm thinking that probably the second best option is for them to be still able to sort of meet the other people or maybe the management company like yourselves. So I wanted to know whether the events that you guys do are for that precise reason to sort of maintain some kind of a morale and a feeling of inclusion and like they're part of something because they are all remote staff, but they still need to feel like they're working towards something. They're part of some community, right? Working
Absolutely.
community.
Yeah. I'm personally huge into building a good company culture, and I want individuals to feel valued. And it gets boring, just staring at a Zoom screen all day long, right? Just like in your room, 365 days a year, right? It's not fun. So just building, especially as your team grows in the Philippines, or if you're able to like fly in and join the team, that's even better. But that's the other part because there's so many times like I lost count where like usually what I do is like after the event, I have my one-on-ones, right? I talk to the individuals like, hey, how was the event? How was the party, right? Like, oh yeah, it was amazing. I learned something about so and so that I didn't know before. And then it's like a full transformation in the next like almost immediate. I noticed that the team starts talking to others in a much more warmer way because now there's that huge next level connection because they've finally met them because maybe they've been working with the individual for the past 6 months remotely. They've never really met someone in person, but now after the Christmas party, they've met that individual, met their family. Sometimes they bring their kids, so they've met the whole family, and that's one factor. Another factor, some of our agencies and ourselves, we extend the invite for their spouses and their kids. And what happens is that we want to bring the family and everyone involved because you and I know, right? Whoever has a significant other, like, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, right? A spouse. And as entrepreneurs, what happens, right? We don't work a 9 to 5. That doesn't exist, right? We're working on the weekends, we're staring at our phone, right? We're doing all these things throughout the day, especially in the beginning. So we can't expect the rest of the team to do that. But we still want to build that mindset of, hey, we're part of the team, we're family, we understand you, right? So when we invite the family members at the events, we build rapport with their family. And so when there are situations which we've had in the past, let's say it's a website launch and it's Friday night. It was unexpected. There's some things that we're waiting for the client to give us approval. They didn't give us approval in time, but we still need to push through the launch. But after the launch, what happens? We still have to vet and check the site on the weekends or the few days, and someone has to do it. Our culture now, I don't say anything, right? Our team would volunteer, would say, all right, well, the site needs to be launched. What do we need to do? And their spouses would say, hey, no worry. I'll take care of dinner tonight. I'll take care of the chores. I'll watch the kids. Um, DSM has been really good to us. Let's help the client take care of that, and um, I'll take care of the chores for the weekend or whatever, right? And personally, I don't like our team working overtime. I don't want them to work overtime. I don't want them to work on the weekends, but sometimes, it happens. But that's the difference, right? If you want to build a culture like that, that's why we have these events. That's why we invite them. And you can't put a number, on these things. Does that help? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you offer this as a standard to all of the staff that you source. The reason why I'm asking is because my worry is that if you hire freelancers' mindset is that, okay, I have the freedom and I'm exchanging, that's the price of my freedom, that obviously I don't have any colleagues or any direct links or permanence, but I have that freedom. Whereas when I'm employing somebody full time, I know that now we're in a culture of working from home, etc. But from time to time, it's still psychologically probably good for somebody who's working full time to have the feeling of belonging somewhere, that they're not just themselves and a computer or whatever. So you guys having these events, they're standard, right, for all of your clients and the companies. I mean,
Yep,
they
yep.
still maybe have to be covered and paid, but you
Mhm.
offer organizing these things, right?
Correct. Yeah, we have a minimum of two big events a year, sometimes more. Because for us, we send I send my own agency over to like work camps or work conferences. Like for example, an HR conference, or it might be a marketing conference. I think I'm going to start work. We're actually looking into AI conferences. So whenever those happen, I'll send my team over. I'm huge into continuing education, expanding their knowledge and investing in the team, right? I eat my own dog food. I say what I do. So I invest back in my team. So when we have other events like those, we would also extend the invite to our agency partners.
All right, awesome. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. So I think, yeah, it makes a lot of, I think you get it. You get it. Um, our I don't want to be the stereotypical like, oh, we're a family here, but not do anything about it, right? But actions speak louder.
How long do they typically stay with an agency?
Um, well, I can tell you because our agency, our official DSM talent program has started a little over a year now. So like they've been majority of our talent has been with our agency partners for that period of time. And yes, there are a few that agencies unfortunately go under. It doesn't work out. There's that. But what I can share with you is my own agency. Um, my longest hire that's been with the agency is 8 years. Average, I would say, because we've been bringing on a lot of new talent, I would say 2.5 years. And it's continuing to grow every single day because it's very, very rare that when someone joins us that they leave.
Okay. Yeah, I've worked with, and of course, probably way different than what you have here, but the past experiences I've had with VAs overseas is it's a lot of turnover. So it's nice to train somebody and have them stay.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's also, and I've been in, I'll get to you in a minute. It's the reason why they leave, okay? And this could be a whole separate topic in itself. What I've seen over the years, they leave mainly because of the manager, right? The leadership. The other the other piece is their situation and their compensation piece. Because a
Mhm.
lot of the individuals that we bring on, they're coming in like, yeah, man, I don't want to go into work. I want to work remotely, but the work that I find remotely are like contracts or project based, and I'm just so tired of doing freelance. I'm tired of chasing project after project. I want stability. I want to start a family. I want to have my own home, right? And if I find that place, if I find a boss, a manager that actually values me and is stable, and I can be with a team that I can be my best version of myself, I never ever want to leave. Okay.
Okay, so what happened is it was Christmas, so we gave them a Christmas bonus because we thought that
Yeah.
was a nice thing to do. And the way they mentalized that was, oh, sick. Now I don't have to work for like 3 months. So I'm actually going to quit. Just take a 3 month vacation with the money you gave me and then start working again after that. So I was like, ooh, that backfired.
No, it did not. Actually, you did yourself a favor. Um, they were not a good fit. They
Yeah.
were they were never a
Yeah.
good
So
fit.
ever since then, I've been hesitant to look overseas just because I don't understand the cultural dynamic.
So
But
how about this, Sarah? You know what I would do? Like here's the thing. This is I um pull a playbook from if you ever heard of Zappos, okay?
Mhm.
Pull a playbook from Zappos. They literally pay people to quit. I can write a check right now. I can say to my team right now, I'll give you 500 bucks. 500 bucks if you quit. And to them that's quite a bit, right? It's like imagine if like this is half your paycheck, right?
Right.
Um, but I'll give you half your paycheck if you quit, right? Today. Not one of my team members would quit.
Yeah, because I want to stay
Okay.
with you.
Yeah. So that's how confident I would be, right? But can you get your team to that point, right? It didn't at this point, it's not even about the benefits. It's about like your environment, why, why is it more attractive for them to go elsewhere, right? What is that reason, right? So you want to dig a little bit deeper on why they left, why isn't it a good fit, right? And it's not just you, it takes two to tango, right? So you want to dig a little deeper in that. But a lot of times, it's reality is we as agency owners need to be better as leaders and look at the big picture. I've made plenty of mistakes. I have like a whole like like pile, like closet full of skeletons, right? Like mistakes that I've made, bad hires, people that I should not have let go, or I wouldn't have had to let go if I was a better leader myself. And so those are some of the things where it was a wake-up call for me. And so it only took me 13 plus years to get to this point. And I'm still learning.
Well, thank you.
So I think I saw Ivan and then Mark, you have your hands up too. So Ivan, you wanna what's your question?
I wanted to know what's the like natural progression for EA because I don't
Mm.
think anybody's gonna stay forever being an EA
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
maintaining.
yeah. We actually That's a great question. Actually, it's a kind of one running joke. Every time David trains up an EA for himself, shortly after David loses the EA because they get promoted somewhere else in the organization. And so I can tell you historically, like currently, my director of ops, the person that's been with me for 8 years, 8+ years, okay, started off as my EA. Our two CSMs, well, I believe at least one of them started off as, yeah, my EA. The other CSM started off as a designer. Um, let's see, yeah, our QA person started off as my EA. Um, Sure. No, let's see. Actually, both our recruiters right now start off as my EA. So you can see like the EA role is like the foundation of the person learning everything about the organization because they're with me almost like all day long, every single day. So they know essentially they're like a mini clone of me eventually. And then at that point, during the calls, during the one-on-ones, I ask the individual, what do you want to do? Right? You're welcome to stay as an EA for as long as you want. But here's the deal. If you want to, let's say, be a designer or be a CSM, then
What is
I'll,
Charlene? What
what's
is
that again?
Charlene? What is Charlene looking at as a progression?
Well, Charlene, I put you on the spot. Have you thought about that? Actually, we actually had that call. We had the discussion, was it a few days ago?
Yeah, so at the moment, I'm at the point where I am still trying to learn everything, but we are leaning towards the marketing team since I'm a part of it. And we're gonna take courses actually starting tomorrow.
Yeah. And thank you, Charlene. Yeah, I give Charlene a lot of credit. Like, this is what, 2 months? You're 2 months in now, right? A little over 2 months.
Yes.
And she's taken so much initiative. And the training. I'll be honest. I've been torturing Charlene, right? But I do this. I'm fair to everyone, right? I torture everyone. I meet with her every single day. Sometimes the calls are like 2 hours long, 3 hours long, And 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 right now I'm throwing her into the deep end, like, hey, we need help with marketing right now. So Charlene's taking the initiative, working with our new social media manager, and I didn't even ask Charlene to say, I think you should take the Google certification, right? I just mentioned, hey, continue learning. If you find opportunities to learn and improve, I'll pay for it. If it's a course, a workshop, I'll pay for it. And Charlene and our social media manager is like, okay, yeah, let's get the Google certifications first. So, I really appreciate that. Um, so anyways, Mark, question. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if Mark's still around. Anyone else? Any other questions? This is good stuff.
Can you tell me, the onboarding, the 3 months setup that you created? Is it within the modules for Agency
Yes.
U?
It yes, it should be. If not, it's one of the
Oh, yeah.
the training sessions. You can always ask Chloe where that file's at.
Oh, one cheeky question. Did you source Chloe and her sister for Agency U as well?
No, not Chloe. Yeah, I think I don't know. I don't know where Austin and Gilberto found Chloe.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Any other questions? If not, you can always reach me in Agency U. Shoot me an email, or yeah, or or you can book a meeting with me on the website, dsmtalent.com. There's a calendar on the bottom. If you want to talk about hiring a EA for you or for your team. And thank you so much for being here, and have a wonderful weekend.
Oh, sorry. Can I quickly ask one question? Your
Sure.
second company deals with websites, right?
Yep,
Web
yep,
design.
yep. We
Do you guys
specialize in
do
WordPress. Yes, Evan.
do you do SEO and optimization on websites? Like I have some clients that may potentially need some work in the future. It's not something that we could handle, but I want to offer it to them because I know
Yeah,
I don't want them to go somewhere else looking for it. So
yeah,
if
yeah.
I need it, can I just reach out to you?
Yeah, well, I appreciate the offer, but unfortunately we don't. We only specialize in design and development of WordPress websites, but we go really deep into it. Like we go into API calls, we build like really large like customer portals and backend systems. So we're more technical and really good at design in that aspect. When it comes to SEO and all marketing, we refer to agencies. So there may be, I'm sure there's agencies here at AU that you could probably talk to.
Yeah, I didn't mean that. I meant, let's say, before we kick off with the campaigns, and let's say we need to optimize the payment system or the forms, or how the special offers pop up and upselling and those technical things on the website.
Oh, yeah. So we've done plenty of that. Just following best SEO practices. That's where we usually work with a SEO agency because they have the reports, they have the keywords, they have the content for us to apply, the alt text, let's say, for the images and stuff like that. Sorry for everyone if I'm getting too technical here. Our team would apply all those changes. It's not just SEO. If you know what ADA compliance is, we've done that too. We've worked with other like an ADA compliance vendor that would do all the ADA compliance, provide us the documentation or the report to make the changes, and then our team will do all the technical changes on that.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. And then
All
Gal,
right.
yeah. Oh, anything else, Evan, before I answer it, Gal?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, cool. He asked, do you also help recruiting web developers that aren't specialized in WordPress? Yes, yes. We're helping a web agency right now find a full stack dev. They're harder to come by the way. I mean, React developer, I think is more popular. But when you're looking for like a full stack, I mean, the more technical, the more complex the role is, the longer it takes, right? Not impossible, but they do exist. Just yes, we can help you. What? Yeah, most of the roles that we place are EAs, video editors, social media managers. What else? Graphic designers, developers. So those are the primary roles. We haven't dived into appointment setters yet. But that's something that we'll probably go into in the future because that's been a pretty big demand too. I mean, mainly because of the agency U authority funnel. Appointment setters are needed for that. And once we scale. All right. Well, anyways, thank you everyone for being here and asking questions. I love questions and glad to be of help. And so again, everyone have a wonderful weekend and hope to see you next week.